makes sense. So good afternoon again. We're recording this session. We're very happy to have you all here. I will start with 2 slides that give the framework of this activity, and then of course Annelies from Wooclap will share their presentation and present Wooclap for us. So just a minute. So great, thank you to have you here. This is our series that we call AI Coffee Break. This is the second series of presentation webinar that we are planning, and we start a few weeks ago, and this is the third tools that we present in our session. This is part of the Impact project that's supported and funded by the Erasmus project by the EU. And our main activity is to bring collaboration, to promote collaboration, online international learning with some partners, of course, in Europe and other country, in this case, Morocco. And we are try to bring different tools to our audience. That means teachers and students around the world, of course, Europe and Israel, in some cases Morocco. And we start with the AI Coffee Break last semester. And as I said, this is the second series, and you can see the list of tools that we already present. And the main idea of that is to improve teaching and learning in the higher education institute in Israel and your other countries, of course. And we have some partners from other countries that are involved in our activity here, so we like to promote it together. I just want to say that we have a collaboration and agreement with some of the companies here to use those tools in the higher education institute in Israel. Wooclap is one of them. Some of the other tools that we already presented a few weeks ago are part of this toolkit that we offer to students and teachers, and we like to have more teachers to use these kinds of tools. We believe that it's improved teaching and learning in different aspects, and today, of course, we all talk about AI, so AI is part of the tools, integrating the different tools and improve teaching and learning. We will present today Wooclap. The speaker will be Annelies from, I hope I said the name correctly, Dejonckheere. She will say that a few minutes again, head of the expansion of Wooclap. And as I said, we have a collaboration with them already, but we like to share how Wooclap can support teaching and support learner in different courses, and how AI integrated to Wooclap, and of course GenAI and AI as a service, and see all this come into the different courses that we like to improve. We will have a 40 minutes session. Part of it will be questions, and if you like to write in the chat, and we will share that with the audience, so you can share the question with us. If not, raise your hands. So I like to give the floor to Annelies, so please start your presentation. I will stop our sharing and give you the floor. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Eli. Let me share my screen with everybody. All right, I think this should be good on your ends. And if not, please let me know. All right, well, hello everybody, and welcome to this webinar on AI in education. I'm happy to be here with you today to discuss how artificial intelligence can improve teaching efficiency through content generation and also boost student engagement. My name is Annelies Dejonckheere, and Eli, you pronounced it well, definitely, thank you. I'm head of expansion at Wooclap, and my role is basically to support higher education institutions globally by introducing the use of our educational tools, which are Wooclap and Wooflash. So today we're going to spend about 40 minutes together, divided into 3 parts, and let me take you through the agenda of today. So a first part will be in which I will introduce you to our generative AI tool to show you how the instructors can create Wooclap questions in seconds from their teaching material. And then I'll take you through our new AI assistants. So those are designed to support teachers both during and after class. And these virtual AI assistants will help with everything from generating fresh ideas to summarizing student responses and even suggesting next steps. And then finally, we'll have about 10 to 15 minutes to ask any question that you may have. So the objective of this webinar is to help you discover all the possibilities offered by Wooclap AI. So you will get a complete picture of what you can do with Wooclap AI. Let me see here if I can open the chat as well so I can follow through. Perfect. And firstly, a little heads up for this webinar. So AI is an additional feature. So if you don't see it, for those who use Wooclap already, if you don't see it yet, please check in with your Wooclap contact person. And secondly, please feel free to ask your questions either in the chat here in Zoom or through the little message icon you will see appearing when you will participate in our Wooclap session. And you'll see that little text bubble popping up on your screens in the below right corner. And I'll be checking on those questions after the session, so during our Q&A. Good. So at Wooclap mainly, our motivation is to improve the quality of education, and we have developed a suite of educational tools that are based both on active learning and cognitive science principles. So all of this basically integrated into the digital ecosystem of teachers and learners. So basically, Wooclap here is the most easiest way to get students involved and participating synchronously. So with over 20 different types of questions and activities. And our second tool here, Wooflash, is basically an intelligent and collaborative micro-learning tool, so which is based on spaced repetition. So this will drastically increase student engagement and enable students to also study more effectively. And this is where Wooflash offers personalized learning paths to students. And of course, it provides as well the statistical reports to track student progress. And basically, both Wooclap and Wooflash are equipped with AI technology to enable teachers and educational technology teams as well to create impactful, personalized content from their teaching material within seconds. So as you already know, today we're focusing on AI in Wooclap. And just for your information, if you'd like to go ahead and attend a full training session on our tools, I will send you the registration link in the chat. I know there's one upcoming on May 13th, so feel free to join. And basically, before we're going to kick off here, I'd like to get to know you a little bit as well, and I have prepared some Wooclap icebreaker questions for you. And you can take part in the event by clicking on a link, and I'm going to put the link here in the chat. And of course, I'm going to show you first how you can connect as well. So either by clicking on the link in the chat or just copying, scanning this QR code, and you'll be able to join as well. So I see we already have 5 people joining. I'll wait a little bit. We have 6 people, 7 people joining. Do not hesitate. If I'm going to show you some questions, you can still join by clicking on the link in the chat. And We have 9 people joining. So I'm looking at the indicator here below right. So you can see how many people are in our session today. And I'm going to start with a first question. So which images, can you guess which images were generated using AI? So you can just pin on image and submit your answer. And you will see that the results will come in at the same time. We have 1, 2. I can also not show you the results just to not bias my audience, but in this case, let's help you a little bit. And I see already 8 people have answered. Let's close the voting. So I'm using that little lock here to close the voting. And I'm going to show you the correct answers. So see how fine it is, the line between AI and the real pictures in this case. Because we see that those pictures are generated with AI. This is a real cake, for example. It's not mine, but it could have been a real one. Taking you to the second question. So what is your relationship with AI? Are you completely in love? Do you regularly use AI in your work, in your teaching? Is it more of a routine that you use AI from time to time? One person says yes. Maybe it's a learning crush for you guys that you started to use AI in the classroom, but not yet fully. A bit of complicated as well. Somebody tried using AI, but not still fully convinced. And maybe AI is still a stranger to some of you guys, that you haven't used it just yet. But I see most of you have used AI already, be it in a learning crush way, a routine way, or completely in love. Thank you so much for your answers. And now let's go on to our demonstration. So firstly, as I'm using Wooclap right now to show my presentation, I'm going to use my exit button here. And you'll see that you're falling back in your event creation interface. So be it a new event or an already active event that you have made with Wooclap, you're going to click on New Question. And this is where you're going to use Create Using AI. Of course, you see that we have different question types: assessing understanding, multiple choice, open question, label an image, dragging and dropping, find on image, matching, fill in the blanks, finding a number, sorting questions, script concordance, judgment concordance testing, gathering feedback through a framework question type or just a simple poll, a word cloud, brainstorming, a rating question, or prioritization of different elements. And you can showcase information as well by adding audio and video, a simple slide or a timer, or even spin the wheel to go ahead and choose some students' names, for example. But today we're going to click on Create Using AI. So basically, Wooclap AI will allow you to create questions from a variety of sources. And I'm going to explain you the following you see on my screen here. I'm going to start with text. So if you click on text, this is where you just simply copy and paste any text that you want the questions to cover. It could be a chapter of a book or a research article or even your course notes, for example. And if we hover over the source link here, this is really where you can paste any link to the website you want the content to be used for. So again, a blog post, a Wikipedia page, or any other public web page. But please note that only the website's text content will be used to create questions, so the images and the videos are ignored. Hence why we have that YouTube video source as well. So this is where we need to put a side note, because sometimes you may experience some issues when importing a YouTube video onto Wooclap. And this is due to the stricter limits that are imposed by YouTube itself. So the restrictions from YouTube can affect how many requests we as Wooclap can make within a certain time frame. which can temporarily block the access when the limits are reached. So we've covered you with a workaround. You can use Cobalt tools, for example, to download the video's audio and just upload it on Wooclap as such. And of course, we are constantly monitoring the situation and exploring solutions. But for now, this method with the Cobalt tools will make sure that you can still create the interactive content from videos. And I'm going to share that here in the chat with you, so you know where to find it and how to enable that. And then, of course, I'm hovering over audio and video. So this is where you can just import all the files, audio files, video files. But again, note that in case of uploading a video file, it's only the audio content that will be used to create the questions. And again, use that link that I have shared with you in the chat. We do have a topic as well. So here you will be able to just enter any topic you'd like to discuss in class, specify the language as well. So we have a few of them already here on our platform. And then you can also select the level of difficulty, be it easy, intermediate, or difficult in this case. And here we're going to upload a document. So an educational support document, this file can be a presentation or a syllabus, be it your notes, a research paper, or a press article. The accepted formats in this case are PDF, PowerPoint, open documents, pages, and text. And I'm going to upload one PDF on my end, and this is an introduction to neurosciences. But in this case, I'm going to select my relevant pages because I know the first 3 pages are my title, the glossary, and a brief introduction. So I know that as from page 4, my first chapter starts. So I want to cover the pages of my documents as from page 4 until 8. If you know that your document also contains photos, images, or handwritten notes even, you can click on this option. And this is where the AI actually will transcribe them into text and generate questions as from that basis. And what's really interesting here is using the pedagogical support to generate your questions or your activities not only avoids AI hallucinations, and by AI hallucinations, I mean the errors or the inconsistencies that are produced by AI models, where the algorithm generates incorrect or invented or even completely false information. This will avoid it and also offers you a higher level of quality than what can be achieved with the tools like ChatGPT, for example. And an important side note as well here is that unlike ChatGPT, your media that is uploaded into Wooclap are not used to feed the AI and not stored. So this allows you to create questions and learning activities from all your personal media in total security. So at Wooclap, the confidentiality of our users' data is really a top priority. So if you want to find out more, I'm going to refer to our Trust Center in the chat, and do not hesitate to take a look in that regard. So the questions here, I have uploaded a English document. So the questions will be created on the basis of the language that is detected in the source document. And for the size of the document, it can be up to 200 megabytes in size. So we do recommend to you that you cut your files into parts if it's too long, or remove any images that might weigh it down. All right. So I'm going to click on continue here. And you see that firstly, Wooclap will ask you what type of content do you want to create? And this is where we offer 6 different types of questions. So you'll have that multiple choice question here. So if I select multiple choice, you can choose the number of correct answers, but also the number of distractors that you expect for each question. So This is especially useful. Coming up with relevant distractors to challenge to students can be very time consuming. So let's say I want one correct answer and 2 false answers in this case. Next, you will see that we also have polling questions that you can generate, or open questions, fill in the blanks as well, matching questions where you can choose the number of the pairs of elements to associate, for example. And then, of course, we also have a brainstorming question where you can have categories to organize students' answers. So you can choose from the several types of questions to really save time. And then you can just go ahead and generate content. And this is where the magic happens. So basically, this is where the AI takes a little bit of time, less than we would need to do if we would need to go ahead and create them ourselves. But of course, the last and most important step here in this case is to ensure that your questions are meeting your learning objectives and your audience for that matter. Because AI is amazing, but AI alone does not work. So you have to keep that human element in the loop. Otherwise, the results won't be as good. This ties with a strong conviction that we've held since Wooclap was founded. Technology is at the service of the teacher, and you're always in control of what's going on. So we can check our answers, those that are correct, those that are wrong. I mean, again, AI may be very powerful, but it's also liable to make mistakes. So keep a critical eye on what it's suggesting. And you can check the relevance of the questions to your teaching objective. So you can just hover over any of those and you can say, well, hey, maybe I'm not going to include this one, and I'm going to exclude this one as well. And let's exclude this one. So basically, you just keep those that you want to keep for your teaching objectives. And of course, you can just go ahead and adapt any wording, any false answer or right answer. And this, of course, to your teaching habits or the level of understanding of your learners. So if you have selected more than one question type, you can navigate from one question to the other here in the left-hand menu. So I have multiple choice questions here. I see all of them that are generated. I would be able to generate more content on the same section if I want to. But let's take a look at our matching questions here. And this is where, of course, you will see all the matching questions. And again, if you just want to delete any of them, you can go ahead. And if you want to generate more content on the same section, you can do so as well. What do we see next? Because we have section 1 of 2. So basically, if your document is quite long, it will be divided into sections. And the number of sections is always displayed here. And this allows you to generate questions harmoniously across the entire content of the document, basically. And you can just go ahead, generate context on the next section. And this is where the AI part will go ahead and generate content on the next section that you have offered within that PDF document that I have uploaded. And again, you can choose in between the selection of output, the questions that should be created, be it multiple choice or matching, and check everything to your liking. And this is where, for example, we can say, hey, I want to add these questions to my event. And this is where you can just add them to your event. It takes a little bit of time, but here we have all of the questions that we have generated with the use of AI. So as easy. Of course, you would be able to export the questions to any other tools, be it in Excel or to Wooflash as well. And this was a quick overview of our generative AI tool for creating engaging interactive questions from various teaching materials. But we also have developed additional AI features within specific question types and interactive activities to support teachers in the course preparation and delivery as well. So if I click on new question here and I want to label an image, for example, AI can definitely help you with that. So I'm going to upload an image of the brain here, for example. I'm going to open that. And, you know, we always go ahead with the first that we want to go ahead with. We blur an area, for example, and this is where we type or answer. But here in this case, I can just make sure that I click on auto label this image. And this is where, if you have an image that is already containing labels, you can just click on one button here and you'll have everything set. For example, you can just remove the title slide because we don't need that. But basically, this is where you go ahead and just hit auto label an image, be it the legends on a diagram or a map or other media. They're just automatically blurred here in this case and transformed into expected answers, which is a major time saver. And again, go ahead and delete any of the answers, etc. And you just save it and you'll see that it is added here. And of course, I can add a question like label this image of the brain, and I'll save that and you'll see it popping up here, and you can just drag and drop it where you want it to be in your sequence. And this is your question ready in a few seconds. But of course, to continue supporting teachers and educators during and after their courses, we've been developing new AI features which are called virtual AI assistants. And these assistants can really help with tasks such as generating out-of-the-box ideas, summarizing student responses, even suggesting next steps, or even providing expertise in some areas that teachers might not have, just in order to enhance the quality of your brainstorming sessions, for example. So we're going to take a concrete look at how these assistants are created and how they work. Of course, do keep in mind that we're still in the exploration phase and that these AI assistants only work within the brainstorming activity question type right now. But we do plan to expand the ability of the AI assistants across various Wooclap questions and learning activities. So I'm going to open my brainstorming question here. I'm going to display that. And this is my first question. And I'm going to show the full screen title because it's a bit long. What are some real-world applications of these subjects that students may not have considered? So I'm going to let you answer in the business segment, mathematics or history. And I'm going to help you a little bit as well on my end with some answers. Maybe students did not think about shopping, for example, or buying databases, or let's say, and I'm on my phone doing this in history classes, maybe going to a museum. That would be something that's interesting. Real world applications of history, for example, or checking the National Archive. That could also be one. So this is where we're really going to have that brainstorming session together with our students. And let's see, because you notice that I have a little logo here, Generate with AI. So when I click on Generate with AI, I would be able to summarize. Example, if you're in a big session with so many students, it could be hard sometimes and cumbersome for teachers to go through all of the answers sent in. So it will create one card with a full summary of the categories sent in answers. So this is where we have Wooclap AI showing the focus. In business, students may not realize the application of databases in optimizing shopping experience, decision-making processes, for example. let's see if we can do the same with history. So there again, we can summarize with the use of Wooclap AI assistants to go ahead and summarize the full section. But seeing that mathematics is maybe something that is less answer to, let's ask for an out-of-the-box ID here. So I prompted my AI assistant to go ahead with 3 different IDs for mathematics. So for example, cryptography, mathematics is crucial in securing digital communications through encryption algorithms, for example, something that a student might not had thought of, or epidemiology, math models to predict disease spread, etc. So at least you'll have the AI assistant that is prompting the out-of-the-box IDs to add to the category. All right. Good. I have another nice question that I can show you around. Just to have another example. Just to show how AI assistants really can help you with that brainstorming question. What do you know about the following phenomena, be it the movement of planets, black holes, light, or the speed of light? So if you're struggling as a teacher to get results from your students, I've prompted the AI to give me some answers as a certain person. For example, you can answer as Einstein or Galileo, for example. So I could ask how Einstein would respond to this particular question or any other prompted person that you would wish for. So in this case, we have that. Under Einstein's answer, the movement of planets can be understood through the curvature of space-time, etc., etc. I could do the same thing here and answer as Galileo, for example. So I guess you get the concept here, and let's dive into how I have created these assistants. So I'm going to use my exit button here, and I'm going to find my brainstorming type. This one, for example, I'm going to edit. So basically, you'll see that firstly, you'll have your first question. So you already, it remains the same for those who used it. Your question at the top and the categories here below. But when you scroll down, we're getting into the AI part of the question creation interface. So basically, if I'm going on the left side here, this is the name of the AI prompt that I wanted to carry during my brainstorm. So answer as Einstein, for example. And here on the right side is my prompt that I have put. So basically the instructions that I'm giving on how to answer the question. So generate one answer as Albert Einstein would deal with the question, for example. And I'm going to go back to the other brainstorming question, because here we asked to summarize or to create some out-of-the-box ideas. So to summarize, this is where I'm prompting my AI assistant, generate one answer that summarizes all of the answers in that category. Or the out-of-the-box ideas, for example, provide a unique and lesser-known real-world application of the subject matter at hand, and make sure that it's engaging and surprising for the students, for example. And of course, at the bottom, you can make it even more specific. So adding more context and info that will help the AI to create relevant responses. And that is basically how you create the AI assistants. It's as easy as that. So I hope as well you're as excited as we are here at Wooclap. Good. Before jumping to questions, I'm going to wrap up the presentation and restart just for you to have an idea. So how the virtual assistants work in the brainstorming learning activity. But this is just the tip of the iceberg, basically. So the AI assistants will be able to support teachers in creating a more engaging and effective learning environment across various Wooclap questions and interactive activities. So as you can see on this slide, when you're working with open questions, for example, the virtual assistants can help teachers by grouping similar answers and even summarizing them. So, for instance, if students struggle with a question, like there's only a 30% of correct answers, so they didn't really understand the concept taught, the assistant can help by suggesting a follow-up question. So this will allow the teacher to confirm whether the students now understand the concept or which could boost the overall impact of the lesson, for example. And also when teachers create new questions, the virtual assistant can provide valuable insights, such as recommending improvements or to the wording or suggesting alternative question types. So these suggestions can really enhance both the question's clarity and the interaction with students. So really helping to refine the teaching practices in real time. So the new AI functionalities are still in beta, but please do reach out to myself or your point of contact at Wooclap if you're interested in further exploring these features with your teachers. And then, of course, the AI is also available in our complementary tool, which is called WooFlash. And you will find how to create flashcard sets with AI, be it questions, answers, terms and definitions, etc. And this is also where you can just select the type of content. And you can also generate the feedback for the multiple choice questions. So having feedback as a student will again foster that long-term memory reassurance. And if you'd like to know more about WooFlash and the AI part, I'm going to put this in the chat as well. Feel free to take a look. And now I would say it's your turn. AI is at your service, but maybe you have ideas from your end, best practices or questions. I'm going to leave the brainstorming question open. So if you have any questions, put it in Zoom. I see that I have a message as well. Here I can check, but you can upload it to the brainstorming question as well, as also per your ID or use cases that you want to share or any feedback in that regard. All right. Does it work with right to left languages such as Hebrew? Yes, exactly. We don't have just yet a left to right alignment, but you will have your output as such when you're using AI. So I hope this answers your question. Let me go back to my question here. Maybe there's somebody else that would love to ask anything or give us feedback. Do feel free. I'm here for any of your questions. And I'll pause a little bit so you can think. Maybe something is coming up. Let's wait a few minutes, and otherwise, feel free to take the time to brainstorm on Wooclap or WooFlash or AI in general.
And maybe if people like to just use their voice to ask questions,
Exactly. Also, voice yourselves. Feel free.
I have questions. The first one is, of course, it's integrated to the LMS. There is integration to LMS like Moodle and others.
Exactly. So basically, the full ecosystem would be your LMS, your presentation media, as well as your video conferencing systems. So if you would use Wooclap within your LMS, such as Moodle, it will add as an activity to your courses. So students, they do not need to toggle between too many windows to stay engaged. The same for the presentation media. So if you're going to use a PowerPoint and you upload your PowerPoint to Wooclap, you will be able to just go ahead, and I'm going to exit here real quick to show you. You can insert questions. So you'll see your slides and you can insert questions anywhere you like, remove them, go ahead and drag and drop anywhere you like and save it, for example. But of course, you will lose the animation. So this is why we have a Wooclap add-in for PowerPoint, where you can create any new event from scratch, or go ahead and insert an already created event, for example. And that is also seamlessly and per the video conferencing systems, be it that we're using Zoom right now. We're not in the same institution, but if we were in the same institution, this is where your chat window would go ahead and be the answer window for the students for Wooclap. And this is the same for Microsoft Teams.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Please feel free.
I have one more question. You saw before different kinds of activities that Wooclaps offer. We know that from our previous discussion, there is lots of options that Wooclap is offering to bring or to increase the collaboration and communication between students. It was relevant a few years ago during the COVID. It's more relevant now to bring different collaboration to the online teaching and learning. And I saw that there is a different kind, and the AI has its own section.
Yes.
What about the others? They have any integration with AI? Because you said open text, and this is definitely other options that can bring AI
Yes.
to the
Yes.
activity as well. So this is
Definitely. So if I'm breaking it down, so the featured ones are always up top. Create using AI is optional. So I do want to reassure people that it is a choice. So if the university is ready, please go ahead. If you're not ready yet, you can test and you can see later. But basically, creating using AI will give you the option to choose from the different sources. But if we go back and, for example, what we've shown with the creating AI assistants, this is where we're going to dive deeper with our product team to see what is still available that we can still do on the other question types that will help any other universities and instructors, because we really are into co-creating, where we're going to listen to the university's needs and see, hey, maybe this is something that we can push. So basically, I am showing you something that is already in beta, but this will gradually come out to all the users. As you see, for example, if we go back and we want to create a framework question type, this is also where you can create AI assistants. If you upload a Canvas, business model Canvas, or the 6 hats of Bono, or the Porter's framework, etc., this is where you again can create the AI assistants to enable your discussions in a more lively way and having your learners engaged. So Eli, I hope this answers partly your question. We're still on a very much interesting learning journey, and the co-creation that we do at Wooclap with our product teams, and the pedagogy behind it that we can see from the field, from the universities, is really important to us. Yeah.
And maybe this leads to another question. If it's a kind of agent, that means the assistant, it's kind of agent that we can create, or it's something that can...
That is very interesting, because basically you can go ahead and create any AI assistant. So this is where you can say, as per this example, answer as Einstein, but as we saw, we can summarize it. We can name our assistants as we would like them. So be very creative with that. And on the other side here, on the right side, this is where you're going to prompt everything in detail on how the AI assistant will be able to respond or help or support during that specific question type. You're very
Thank you.
welcome.
Any other questions?
If there's no other questions, I would like to thank you, everybody, for your time this afternoon. Have a great rest to the conference, with all of the interesting speakers. And please do not hesitate, because we know that AI is one of our key areas to focus on this year. So we will continue to evolve to assist learning technologists and teachers to save more time in preparation so that you can focus on teaching. And please feel free if you want to see what's new at Wooclap. I'm going to share one link in the chat still, so you know what's coming up. And if you are ready to go ahead and test Wooclap, do not hesitate to contact me as well, or just fill in that questionnaire and it will arrive at the right person here at Wooclap to support you. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
See you next time with our next session.